It was an ordinary Wednesday, no arguments or chaos, just the quiet of an evening settling in. I'd just gotten home from work, the familiar sound of my keys dropping onto the counter, the faint creak of the floorboards under my feet as I kicked off my shoes. The air carried a trace of her lavender soap, lingering like a memory. She stood by the living room window, arms crossed, staring out at nothing. When I asked, "Hey, everything okay?" her response came like a stone dropping into still water. "I can't do this with you anymore." Her voice was steady, hollow, like she'd practiced it in her mind 1,000 times. I laughed, thinking it was a joke, but her face stayed blank. No anger, no tears, just an emptiness that cut deeper than any scream. I stood frozen, words failing me. Her eyes told me she wasn't looking for a fight. She was already gone. I didn't argue. I didn't stay. I grabbed my wallet, my keys, and walked out. Not for a drive or a night away. I left it all behind. No note, no suitcase, just the road stretching out ahead. I drove until the life I knew felt like a dream I'd woken from, ending up in a small coastal town 6 hours away, where the sea was louder than the people. I rented a room above a bait shop, paid in cash, and started fixing boats and painting houses for anyone who'd pay under the table. I called myself Nate, nothing more. No one asked about my past, and I didn't offer it. Each morning, I'd walk the pier before dawn, coffee warming my hands, the gulls crying overhead, the waves steady and indifferent. My heart stayed silent. People say running is weak, but sometimes it's the only way to keep breathing. Still, she was everywhere, her scent in the salt air, her favorite song humming from a stranger's radio, the way I'd still wake reaching for her in the dark. She never called, and that silence carved out pieces of me. Then months later a call broke through. It was Sam, a mutual friend I hadn't spoken to since I left. His voice was careful, like he was handling something fragile. "It's Clara," he said. "She's sick. Cancer, stage 1. They caught it early, but she's alone." My hand tightened on the phone. I didn't say much, just hung up and started driving the next morning, the highway blurring beneath me. I didn't know what I'd say, or if she'd even let me in, but when I knocked, she opened the door. She looked frailly or worn, but still herself. "Nate," she whispered, her eyes wide. "I heard," I said. "I'm here if you need me." She didn't speak, just stepped aside. The house felt like a shadow of itself, same furniture, same walls, but colder, quieter. I slept on the couch that first night. She didn't offer more, and I didn't ask. The next morning, I made her coffee black with a pinch of cinnamon, the way she always liked it. She drank it in silence. Days turned into weeks of small, careful routines, driving her to chemo, holding her hand through nausea, cleaning up when she couldn't keep anything down. Some nights, she'd cry in her sleep. Others, she'd stare at the ceiling until dawn. I stayed, not for forgiveness or to fix what broke, but because love doesn't stop just because you walk away. One evening, for months in, she broke the quiet. We were in the kitchen, mugs of tea between us. She looked up and said, "Why did you come back?" I could have dodged it, but I didn't. "Because I still love you," I said. "Even when you didn't want me to." Her eyes softened, and she reached for my hand, her touch light but steady. Something shifted. The next few months brought glimmers of her old self, soft laughs during late-night movies, short walks where she leaned on my arm, moments when she'd fall asleep against me while I read to her. We talked about the past, about how we'd drifted, how she'd felt unseen, how I'd felt like I could never measure up. It wasn't easy, but it was honest. Then came the day we'd been holding our breath for. The doctor scanned her results, smiled, and said, "You're in the clear." No celebration, just relief so heavy it brought her to her knees. I caught her, held her as she sobbed, and for the first time in years, I didn't want to let go. She beat cancer, and in those months we beat something else: silence, stubbornness, the walls we'd built. We didn't erase the past, we faced it. And in that raw, quiet truth, we found a way to begin again. Not as who we were, but as who we could be.